Yeah, all right. So what's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to go over the best marketing techniques you can use for your comic book or series. And this can apply to those who are creators for the direct market and for those who are using Kickstarter to fund their book. So, getting straight to the point, marketing for your comic book starts with narrowing down your audience and those respective markets. So, there's four primary markets within your target audience that I'm going to talk about today. And those are readers, commentators, other creators, and speculators. Readers are your primary audience. These are the people who purely buy your book based upon its entertainment value and its ability to satisfy their joys. These are people who enjoy reading comic books. However, as I talk about in other videos, readers don't have to just be comic book readers. They can be any readers of a specific genre all the time, like horror or romance, or specifically like supernatural romance or something like that. Or people who are super into a very specific niche, like skateboarding or camping or something like that. And these kind of people will branch into comics or graphic novels if they're written or focus on something within their favorite niche that they're following. Um, so that's readers. The second category is what I call commentators, and this basically means the press or the comic press or the comic media, primarily reviewers. So this is review sites, it's Twitter, it's pop culture websites, and these are the kind of groups or Discord chats or whatever that you can join or submit to. And with comics, even the biggest names, CBR, Bleeding Cool, or whatever, you'll be able to reach out to them, and at least they will post like a press release of your book or something like that. And many of them, no matter kind of how small you think you are or how big you think they are, they'll at least respond to your requests for an honest review unless they specifically say no. And that's only like, I don't know, people that are really big sites that sometimes review on like mainstream graphic novels or something, but they're mostly like a video game site or something like that. Anyone within the comic industry or like focused on comics, they will listen to anybody. They'll at least listen. That doesn't mean that they'll post or review or anything like that. The third category is other creators, and this is probably the smallest category when it comes to size of people that actually buy your book or read your book. However, it's one of the most important because you want to help other creators, and when you do so, it sort of builds your network, and those that are in your network often help promote your work. And you can kind of build your credibility in the industry based upon who is hyping you up and who you're helping hype. So it's kind of a net positive to post and be publicly positive about other people within your group, and generally being positive with other creators in the industry. But you'll definitely don't want to be negative or trashing other people's work. This is a good way to, maybe that works for some in this market or world where like deliberately it's us against them or something. But in general, you don't want to burn bridges with other creators. You want to generally continue to grow upward and branch out your network. And that helps with promotion when you release your books. The final category is what I call speculators, but this can also sort of refer to comic shops because this is basically people who are buying your book to sell it, either to sell it the first time as in like a retail store or to resell it as like a speculator. Shops buy books to sell to both readers and speculators. Speculators buy books they think will increase in value at a later date. This is because they expect the series to become super popular or to get a movie deal or something like that. They treat your book as a collectible, not a story. And to appeal to this crowd, you'll want to offer limited or exclusive covers, special covers like metal covers, blank covers, stories with high concept, variant covers with popular or trending artists. And I saved this group for last because although they're kind of the hardest to really predict what you can do with this group, they often are one of the biggest group of people that actually buy your comic book. They are they probably, although a lot of speculators are also readers, when they're buying these kind of special things, they are just buying it to resell it to other collectors. So with the audience understood, I'm going to jump into kind of the three practical action items or understandings for the whole marketing process, in my view. And this is basically number one is your promotional artwork or your promotional designs. Number two is your advertising campaigns, and number three is research. Like those, so these are the three things that you're gonna need to focus on throughout your whole marketing tactics and from start to finish. So anyway, so in the promotional artwork understanding, so you have to gather up a large amount of artwork in order to market your book, and it all has to be professional grade. You need to create stellar covers. You need to come up with a logo for your series. You need to come up with a actual video trailer, even if it's just a series of images set to music or with no music that you post on TikTok or something to with their music. And general high quality designs for kind of promotional ads for or social media posts. You need to physically create or hire out exceptional artwork. You can use Canva or Be Funky for templates, or you can use Upwork or Fiverr to actually hire everything out, or even just reach out to professional graphic designers or publishing or like marketing companies. And you'll need multiple covers, not necessarily different artwork, but you'll need different designs of the same cover. You'll also probably want multiple covers from different artists that can grasp different markets. You'll want like your sexy cover, your scary cover, your bloody cover, your villain focused cover, your hero focused cover, your one that's minimalist, one that's super highly detailed, one that highlights the sidekick or the animal, one that's monster oriented or whatever, depending on your genre. But you need to have a different one that appeals to different aspects of your story. A lot of our stories aren't just one thing. It's not just only about the monster. There's usually a hero and a villain, and there's usually something that appeals to a broader audience, like people who like a close up of teeth, or something like that. For example, I had a book that the cover was just an alligator with its mouth open, and that was like one of the best sellers I had. No one cared what was inside of it. They were just like, I saw that alligator and I bought it. Stuff like that. That appealed to like the creature feature audience, even though the story wasn't necessarily that. You'll want to have a cover for kind of any aspect that you can sort of milk. You'll want that. And they'll all need to be high quality. I can't stress that enough. If your artwork is stretched out or colored wacky or just the font is all basic, I just got a vision of that. I think that papyrus for Avatar sketch in my mind. Anyway, if you haven't seen it, look it up. I forget that actor's name. Ryan Gosling, maybe. Anyway, it's got to be professional grade artwork. Like that's one of the probably the most key thing out of all this is like if you took your cover or your ad and you compare it side by side with another professional comic book, does yours look equal? Would people know, if you changed your logo with the Image logo, would people think that they were the same? Anyway, so then in addition, so you'll need to figure out which cover is your A cover. This is your primary product. The one that you highlight the most. This is like whenever you send people the link to your product, this is, the cover that comes up. And then of each of these covers, you'll need to then create the different designs. So like for every general different design, you'll also need the specific for where it's being posted design. So you need to create the squares, those that are actually like the 2x3, the 16x9s, the long ones, the horizontally, like ones for banners, and then also ones for, the side of the page. You'll want to kind of create all that, or at least somewhat get in the ballpark so that whenever your photos are posted on different places it's not cutting out key things. And there's almost any one of those like main template sites allow you to do this. I think the ones I said before, Be Funky and Canva, they allow you to easily like just get a template that's meant for like a Facebook banner, that's meant for a YouTube thumbnail and all that kind of stuff. You'll want to create one for each one of those things, and you'll want to create all this artwork. It's literally going to be like 50 to 100 different pieces of artwork of your stuff that you're going to, whenever it's time for you to launch, that you're just going to just pump out. You're going to be like, all right, now I need to change my banner on Twitter. Now I need to make this post that says, so-and-so and all that. Now I'll detail all this in the next part, which is advertising campaigns. So like the key thing is like if you're selling through Diamond, all of this artwork, you're also going to need to add somewhere like the link to your website where they can buy it, or your website where they can pre-order it. And in all of that promotional material, you're going to need to add that Diamond code along with the release date, or at least the release month, because a lot of times the exact week changes. But if you're funding on Kickstarter, the same thing. You'll need the link to the Kickstarter page and the deadline to fund, or like the time period, the 30 days that you're funding. All that needs to be added to most of the promotional artwork. So anyway, on to actual like advertising campaigns. So for free advertising, when I say advertising campaign, I mean like whenever like you're getting ready to launch, like the 2 months that you're prepping, like for people to pre-order your book, and then actually like prepping for when it comes out, and then throughout the whole time period you're releasing it, which this can be like 6 months or longer. And then for like Kickstarter people, there's often like you're prepping for your Kickstarter campaign, then your campaign's at 30 days, and then all that, so you'll want to at least like to prep for like 2 months of what I would call an advertising campaign. And so the best way to do that is basically for free. Facebook is a key one. So you'll want to join Facebook groups for free. Now, when I say this, the key thing here is I'm not including like indie comic creator community groups, or even writer community groups, or even artist community groups. Other creator groups are generally not a good place to post your work for actual advertising, because they are not your primary audience. The audience, like other writers and creators, where they are whenever it comes to your actual like campaign, is prior to actual any advertising. They are like, you work with other creators to help them, like you hire them to create other covers for you so that they can promote on their own social media. You're not just like posting into creator groups and just saying, here's my launch, because other creators, it's the same with the indie films. We're not the ones who care about your story. We care about our own stories, and we're only helping you if you've worked directly with us, or like if there's like a this for that kind of thing where it's like, oh, I did a cover for this book, so of course I'm going to promote it. I'm going to promote my cover or whatever. I'm going to promote the series because I believed in it enough to be involved in it, not because I saw it on a creator group that I never look at. So that's a key thing, is you find like most people immediately go to writers communities or indie comic creator communities, and there's a bunch of them, and there's thousands of people in all these groups, and no one ever actually pays attention to anything except for brand new people to those groups. These are not your mass core audience, so I'm not going to dwell on that any further. But so the groups that you are looking for is groups that have a lot of engagement, where you can simply post your artwork, ask some questions, leave a few comments, and get at least a handful, if not hundreds of people to like and engage with your post. And I do this. I post covers. I ask like one question, like, is this good? Or it's just simple, obvious questions. And you get dozens and up to hundreds of people that comment on it, ask for the link to the book, and all that kind of stuff. It's not hard. You just have to find the right groups. And like I was kind of saying earlier, this is where instead of trying to find, you're basically trying to find people that are into a specific niche or a specific genre. So if you're writing horror, you'll want to join horror groups, although that one's also very broad. That is a lot like joining other creator groups. You're not trying to join horror writer groups, or even just like, you want to join very specific targeted groups, like people that are into vampire romance, people that are into gory anime, or like the general ero guro subgenre, people that are specifically into just the Friday the 13th films and things like that. Um, if you're not, that's easy, in like the other realms, the slice of life kind of stuff. There's plenty of the same kind of stuff for drama. People that are just into teenage wastelands and like, or whatever, science fiction. So you're gonna join groups that aren't even necessarily into books. They're, it's new tech, it's UFO groups, it's ancient alien fans, that kind of stuff, and that's where you'll, kind of the last part I go into research. Like, this is sort of involved in that, but the one of the best ways to advertise for free is to find the right groups and then regularly post in there. And you post with them, not just like, here's my thing, buy my book. It's more like, a UFO is a perfect one where like you're engaging with the audience. Like, I love, like, is this thing real? And you're commenting on other people's posts. And then you'll throw in there, like a cover to your book that has a UFO on it. And then you'll ask a question like, does anyone read UFO fiction, kind of thing? And then people will say yes or no, or this doesn't belong here. We deliberately, some groups do say don't shill that kind of stuff or solicit or whatever. But anyway, so in addition to that, you'll actually want to do paid advertising campaigns, and I will go make a whole separate video because this is there's a lot into that concept and topic. But best way to do it is with Facebook ads and Google YouTube ads, and this is where your trailers come into play and your promotional material comes in to play, to a big point. So like every time, like the main thing that you want to understand with ads is that you need a catchy picture. Like, it's literally just like a photo. Like, the best, if your cover is mostly a monster, if your cover is like the coolest part of your cover is the face or the hand or the sexy woman or something, like, you focus on that, someone's head getting shot. That's what your ad is the thing that like catches people's attention, because that picture is what gets people to click. And that's how you, like, every time someone clicks your ad to go to your website or your Kickstarter page or your publisher page or whatever, you pay for it, but you pay for less depending on how often people who actually see your ad click on it. The more people that see it and click on it, the less you pay. So basically, like, for a certain time period, you pay to be like, we're going to send it to everybody that's in this target group of this location, and let's just say that's 10,000 people. Within 24 hours, they're going to put that post in front of 10,000 people. Now, you're going to pay, basically, if of those 10,000 people, if 1,000 of them actually click on your ad as opposed to 40 of them, you're paying like the same amount regardless, but you're paying less per click depending on how many people actually click on it. So it's kind of like the more popular your ad, the better it works, the less you pay. And what gets people to actually like go there and click is something that's super catchy, and you guys know what that is. It's not something bland. It's, you want the shark attack on your ad, or the face. That's an interesting, beautiful face is what we want to focus on, or the eyes, or whatever. The interesting aspect that causes people to go, what? I'm clicking it. And like I was saying, so I'll go further into that from there as to like, then what do you do next? Once people actually click on it, now what? You'd think it should be just obvious, like, well, they click the ad, and then they buy my book, but it's not quite like that. Unless the ad just immediately puts money into your bank account, which none of them do that, there's usually a second click that they have to make, or often a third or fourth, and you want to limit that number of clicks. So they basically, as soon as they click that ad, they go straight to to where their second click is buying the book. And you don't want to give them much time to think about it. You want them to go, I like that, I like this video. The fact that they clicked on it at all implies that they have some intent to buy it, and you want to basically force them into that buy as quickly as possible. But anyway, so the third aspect is research. So what I refer to it as back engineering. So as far as what your research is actually doing, you're not just researching, you're basically back engineering successful books. You're going to look up a book that's within your genre, in your niche, within your realm, meaning it should be also a creator-owned indie book, not one of the big two, but it can be published by a bigger name, like Image or whatever. But it has to be within your genre. It has to be within what the same people buying that book is also the same people that you want to buy your book. Okay, so you're gonna then take that book. You're gonna type it into Google. If you're looking up something is killing the children, or whatever it is, you're gonna type that in, and you're gonna figure out who all reviewed that book. You're gonna look up who all is viewing the book. What all websites have covered it? Does the book have its own website? Does the author and creator have their own website? What all social media are the creators on? And you're literally going to go down to every avenue of this. It will take hours and days. Do the authors have their own website? Do they have a link tree? Whenever you click, do they have their ads of their own? Do they have a YouTube channel? Does the publisher have a YouTube channel? Did they create a trailer? How many covers did the book have? Who all did the artwork? How many artists? How popular are the artists? How many fans? How many people are following the authors? How many people are following the variant cover artists? Try to figure out all this stuff. This is all data that you're trying to mimic. And if not exactly mimic, you're trying to reach out to as many of the same people that reviewed the book. You're going to try to figure out what all websites covered the book, and you're going to try to reach out to the same websites. You're going to find out who all commented on it on Twitter. You're going to try to figure out exactly who that audience is. How many times was it mentioned in other groups and things like that? Because whoever was that's your audience. So you're trying to find every aspect of that audience, and then you're trying to mimic, how many people did they reach, and how can you reach the same amount? If they had 4 covers with artists that each have 50,000 followers or something like that, you'll want to do something similar if you're trying to reach the same level. And, even if not exactly, it's like, okay, so they had 4 covers, and then they also had these exclusive, and one was done by a new artist, one was done by one of the most popular ones, and and one was, like I was saying, did they have one that was focused on a villain? Did they have one that was focused on their sexy hero? Did they have one, and you're going to want to try to do the same things, It's not that crazy of a concept. It's like, I think it's even like the famous quote of if you're going to steal from the best. Look at what's successful and why. And with the way things are done now, you can literally go all the way back to the month that person started promoting or mentioned, hey, I'm working on a new thing, and you can watch almost step by step who they talked to, how many posts on social media did they make. This research is helpful. And once you do it once, it gets easier for your later books, because you basically know everybody kind of does the same thing, and it's just how much how often do people do it, and then there's a certain amount that is out of your control. That's who is actually loves the book and hypes it. A lot. Sometimes people just get lucky, and essentially a celebrity endorses it. I got lucky in that sense. I had the editor-in-chief of Marvel publicly announced that on Twitter that my book was one of his favorites of the summer, or something along those lines, and that massively I just got lucky there. That I couldn't reach out to him directly and ask him to do that. I didn't. There wasn't much I could do to deliberately try and get it in front of his eyes or something like that. But you can take efforts to sort of try to get things in front of people that you want to see it, to make it more possible that would happen. A lot of things are luck, but there's a lot of things that you can do to make yourself more lucky, so to speak. I think that's about all I really have for this. I can dive into more in-depth parts of this, like the ads and stuff like that, in a different video. So if that was helpful to anybody, just like the video or whatever. Thanks. See ya. Bye.